Didn't see you there. Welcome to the Cool Library. My name is Ellen, and this is where you're at. Oh my god, this is so stupid. Okay. Also, it's just water in this cup. But welcome to this vlog where I read a bunch of Christmas romances because Christmas is my favorite time of year. I also love romance. Those two together, it's a great combination. So I read a bunch of Christmas romances for the holiday season, and this is me reading them. I'm just filming this because I realized I didn't have an intro to this video, so this is it. And enjoy. Hi, it is time for book 1, and we are starting off with Duke Actually by Jenny Holiday. I've never read a Jenny Holiday book, but she does have a couple of like Christmas romances out there, and I feel like I don't know if I want to say she's queen of it, but she is known for writing a lot of Christmas romances, so I figured I should start with her. I mean, Holiday is also in her name, so it just makes sense. But this, I don't know too much about it, but I know that we are following a duke. I mean, I assume since it's in the title. But I just know it's royalty, which I do love a good, like, royal romance book. And then I guess just like a normal girl from America, and they are like maid of honor and best man in a wedding, I believe. And I know it's a hate to love romance, which is always good as well. Other than that, I really don't know anything about this, but I'm hoping it gives me Love Actually vibes, as the title also kind of assumes is what I'm gonna get. But either way, I am excited to get started on this journey, and I think this is a good one to start with, so let's go. I am officially halfway through Duke Actually, and I'm not really enjoying it. I'm doing both physical and audiobook for this one, just because right now I really need the audiobook because I've got so much to do that I just don't have time to sit and physically read it. So I am currently listening to the audiobook while I pack, because I'm going on a flight super early tomorrow morning, which I should be in bed right now because I'm gonna have to wake up at 4 a.m. Not excited about it. This was pitched as, you know, like enemies to lovers romance, and I can kind of see it, but at the same time I don't see the enemies aspect to it. I think the enemies aspect of it is just like she thinks he's a playboy, and so that's the only reason why she doesn't like him, but yet their conversations with each other don't show that they hate each other. So that's why I'm like really confused about the enemies to lovers romance aspect to it. And then the other thing is, I love witty banter with my romances, and this has no witty banter. This is just like simple, plain, boring conversations between these two, and it's also a little too cheesy for me. Sorry if I have a lisp. I wear a night guard to bed, so it's in my mouth right now. What I do like about this book, though, is I think the dog character is the best character. I really like the dog. I really also like the fact that our main character, Danny, she is a Latin American, and they do mention it quite a bit in the sense of like how she's feeling as a Latin American in the world, and how like she's too white when she goes to Mexico for family, but then too Latin in America. And you know, it does have it mentions that type of stuff, so I like that we're getting the representation. Is it accurate? I don't know. I'm not Latin American. I'm going to spend these last few minutes finishing up packing, and then I'm gonna go to bed. And hopefully when I will finish this either on the plane or while I'm on vacation. I finished Duke Actually. I actually finished this a couple weeks ago. I just haven't told you about it. I'm sorry. So I might have actually forgotten a good amount of this. Overall, I've given it 2 stars. Can I be focused? Thank you. Overall, I've given this 2 stars. I didn't really like it that much. I liked genuinely the premise, but I think for me, going into it thinking it was an enemies to lovers and then it wasn't, kind of threw me off. I do want to mention that, okay, there was a lot of stuff with the wedding that just didn't make sense. Like, why was she, the best woman, wearing white? She was wearing a white dress as the best woman. And then also, she was walking down the aisle before the bride, which is what bridesmaids do, and she's not a bridesmaid. She's with the guy. She's the best woman, so she should be standing up there with the guy, and he's not supposed to be able to watch her walk down the aisle. It's supposed to be the opposite. So like a lot of inconsistencies with the wedding, honestly. I didn't really like a lot of the dialogue. I did listen to this like audiobook, but I also physically read the book. I went back and forth, and honestly I prefer reading it physically. I didn't like the voices of the audiobook. They were not the voices of the characters to me in my brain as I was reading it. I really obviously liked the dog character, but overall it just didn't really do anything for me. So this is gonna be a no. Late at night, and I have finished my second book for this vlog, and it is A Holly Jolly Diwali by Sonia Lally. So it's Diwali season, and so I felt like reading a holiday Diwali book, but it does have Christmas in it as well, which is why I'm including it in this video. So the whole like beginning is Diwali season, and she's in Mumbai, I believe. Sorry, she actually travels quite a bit through India, but I think it's mainly Mumbai that she stays in when she's there. It's for a friend's wedding, but it's also for Diwali season, so she's just having the time of her life. She meets a guy. It's really cute, and I enjoyed this one. And then it does end in the Christmas time with like, you know, a big love gesture, and I really enjoyed this one. I liked it. My overall score though is going to be 4 stars. So I did enjoy the romance. I enjoyed the writing style. There were just a few little tiny nitpicky things, like there were a couple of chapters that were flashbacks to a previous relationship that she had, but to me I didn't see the connection between those chapters and what was happening in real time or in the present. Like, I get it now by the end, but it was just one of those things where like in the moment it didn't really match with what was going on. And we also technically didn't need those chapters. We could have gotten what happened between her and her ex from just, sorry. We could have just gotten what had happened between her and her ex with just talking about it in present day. We didn't need to see the flashbacks. It started out as a 5-star, if I'm being honest. I was reading it and I was like, I'm in love with this, 5 stars. But it got confusing because there was also like another guy, and I just got confused as to like who our love interest is supposed to be. But after a while I was like, okay, I think I definitely know who the love interest is, and I really enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed this one. Now on to the next one. I just realized how much of the background this shows, how much of a mess my room is. Anyway, so next book I read is Christmas Camp by Karen Shaler. Karen Shaler wrote A Christmas Prince, which is one of the like more popular Christmas romance movies on Netflix. I love that, so when I saw that, I was like, I need to read Christmas Camp. And it was cute. I enjoyed this. It is very Hallmarky, which this was turned into a Hallmark Christmas movie in 2018. Haven't seen it. I might want to try and see it if I can find a way to watch it for free. But yeah, it was cute. We have, what's her name? Haley. She is, you know, business woman in the marketing advertising world, and she wants to get a promotion, so she's trying to get this client who is a toy company, and they want their Christmas ad campaign, and she wants that client, she wants that position. But her boss is thinking of giving it to Tom because Tom loves Christmas and Haley does not. How could she do a Christmas client if she doesn't like Christmas? And she's like, I could like Christmas. Like, she's trying to like sell herself on this so she can get the promotion. Which, okay, this is something these types of stories do all the time, and it bugs me in the sense that, like, so it's close to Christmas, and this toy company has now come to an advertising agency to be like, hey, we want to market our Christmas line. And it's like, it's a week till Christmas. In the real world, that doesn't happen. They do their like Christmas, they start getting their Christmas marketing ideas and whatnot in like spring or summertime. So that way it's ready by the Christmas season. Anyway, it's a week before Christmas, and this client is like, we want our Christmas marketing done, and she wants to do it. Her boss ends up being like, okay, go to Christmas camp, which apparently is a thing. After a week of Christmas camp, come back, and and if you've done a good job at Christmas camp, and you've like found the spirit of Christmas, I will let you pitch an idea. So she goes to Christmas camp, and there we have Ben, who runs it, and his son, Jeff. Ben was my favorite character, just like this sweet elderly man who just was always like the voice of reason. And his son Jeff and Haley, they don't start off on like great terms, but they do end up having moments and creating this beautiful romance. I shouldn't say beautiful, this cute romance that kind of started as like a hate situation. So hate to love is what we've got going with this one. And yeah, I also really enjoyed a lot of the side characters. I did enjoy the romance, but I also really enjoyed all the other characters that are at this Christmas camp, because we have a bunch of them. And I do think they were all pretty well fleshed out. And I liked their journey from the start of Christmas camp to the end of Christmas camp. And just all the different ways of finding Christmas and joy in your life and in your heart, whatever. The cheesiness. But this book is super cheesy, and I enjoyed it. It was very rushed at the end, though. Like, when we got to the conflict, it was like 20 minutes left in the book, and I was like, you have 20 minutes to, like, get them back together? So it was very rushed. Very rushed. This book also includes Christmas Camp Wedding, a, like, secret bonus story. That's not it. This is it. Christmas Camp Wedding, a bonus, like, short little story. I haven't read that yet, so I'm going to read that and then let you know my thoughts on it. But for the book itself, Christmas Camp, I'm giving it 3 stars. It was cute. It was fun. It just wasn't anything super special to me. It doesn't do anything like A Christmas Prince does. But yeah, let me read the short story, and then I'll probably finish that tonight, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, it's the next day. I wasn't able to finish it within one night for some reason, but I finished the short story at the end of Christmas Camp. So it was Christmas Camp Wedding is what it was called. I'm counting it as 2 separate books because Goodreads counts it as 2 separate books. So that's what I'm doing. I gotta do what I can to make sure I reach my reading goal for the year, because I am falling behind. But basically, Christmas Camp Wedding took place a year after the end of Christmas Camp, and our 2 main characters are getting married. I really enjoyed it. I think I liked it just a little bit more than Christmas Camp. I don't know why, but I think like the actual like wedding itself, there's just something about weddings and like romance that I just love and I want. But I'm obviously not having it anytime soon. Yeah, it was really sweet, and we got like most of the characters back, and there were some twists and turns happening. I mean, my qualms with it are that it's, you know, it's still really cheesy, but that's what we love about these books. There were a lot of things that were just too convenient, and timeline was just a little confusing as well. I also thought that this should have taken place 2 years after the end of this book, because them getting married within a year of meeting each other seems a bit too rushed to me, but it was still really cute. Giving it the same amount of stars as Christmas Camp, which, by the way, I actually gave Christmas Camp 3.5 stars. I realized I made a mistake there. And Christmas Camp Wedding is also 3.5 stars. Hello. It is now time for the next Christmas romance book that I have read, and that would be You're a Mean One, Matthew Prince by Timothy Janofsky. I was really looking forward to this because this was my very first time reading a gay Christmas romance. So very excited about it. And I love the title because it's based off of the song from Grinch, which I love that Christmas movie. But this kind of flopped for me. Not too much flopped. Like, it wasn't bad, but it just didn't warm my heart or make me feel the like fuzzies that a Christmas romance is supposed to make me feel. And I also just had a couple issues with some of the tropes within this book. I think I'm starting to realize that I don't like the trope of a very rich protagonist having to slum it with the normal people and not understanding how to do normal things like laundry and whatnot. Like, it's just not fun to read about. And our main character, Matthew Prince, was just like really stuck up and annoying, especially in the beginning, which I get is the character, and then he learns to not be that way. I couldn't have sympathy for the character because of that. I also thought the like conflict at the end didn't make any sense because it was just like so obvious that this is not something this character would do. So the fact that the other character was getting mad at the one character for something that was like, it felt very out of character, a lot of things that the characters were doing. And not just our two main characters, but also like our main character, Matthew Prince's parents. Like, they too were like making decisions that I just don't think were within their character to like make those choices. I don't know. It was just a lot of meh things happening that I just was like just waiting for it to end. I'm so sorry. Overall, I'm giving this 2.5 stars because it was fine. There was not really anything I particularly hated about the book, but it's not one I'll want to read again. It's not one I'm going to think about again. I'm already starting to forget a lot of things that have happened within this book. Unfortunately, this was a miss for me. Hello. In the middle of cleaning my room, so it's still a little bit messy, but honestly, I can see my floor, and that's the only thing that matters. But I have been listening to my audiobook while I've been cleaning, and I finished A Merry Little Meet Cute. This is by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone, and I think I just had too high expectations for this book. So with this one, we have a porn star, B. Hobbs, or as she's known on the porn websites, Bianca Von Honey. She gets like accidentally cast in a Hallmark, or they call Hope Channel, but we're gonna continue saying Hallmark, a Hallmark Christmas movie with a guy who is an ex-member of a boy band, and he was like the bad boy of the boy band. So I was expecting, you know, like, oh, we're filming a Hallmark Christmas movie. We've got a porn star, which I've had some good luck with porn star romances. And, you know, boy bands, I love boy bands. So this just had like a lot going for it that I really love. I also love that both of our main characters are bisexual. We also have plus size representation. Bianca is plus size, as well as our two authors. So I am not plus size, so I can't say that that representation is accurate, but I'm assuming because the authors are, they probably know what they're talking about when it comes to that representation within this book. And I think overall I am giving it 4 stars, but I'm giving it like a low 4 stars. To me, the sex scenes weren't as sexy as I wanted them to be. I don't know, there were some parts that literally made me gag. And not in a good, sexy way. In like, I want to throw up way. Yeah, there were just, so the sex scenes, I didn't really feel anything. There were also a lot of things that logistically just didn't make sense. For one thing, okay, I've noticed this, that whenever people write stories about like, oh, they're filming a Christmas movie, they're always like, and it takes place at Christmas. And I'm like, when they film Christmas movies, they are not filming it around the Christmas time. They're not. And so it just doesn't make sense to me, because then it's like, okay, well, they're filming it at Christmas, so then it's going to be a whole year until the movie comes out. But then all of a sudden it's like the movie's out. And I'm like, so there was no editing process? It just didn't make sense to me. I mean, that's not the only thing, but there were a couple other things that just logistically did not make sense. I did like that our characters were not one-dimensional. They had a lot of depth to them, so I really enjoyed the characters. I also really enjoyed our side characters a lot as well. So we did also have a lesbian romance, we also had a gay romance, and then we also have some mental representation. One of these characters has bipolar disorder, and so it's just been dealing with that. I guess one other issue, I'm going back and forth here, but another issue I had with it is this cover and the title. I feel like if you don't know what this book about, if you see this and you go into it, you're going to get something completely different than what the cover is showing you. Like, it's like, oh yeah, Merry Little Meet Cute. By the way, I don't think their meet was cute at all. Like, when you have a meet cute, it's a cute meeting between two people. The way they met, I don't think was very cute. I don't know. And then also too, like, it's very spicy. The sexy, like, I mean, you got a porn star. It's obviously going to be very raunchy and sexy. But like, the cover doesn't give that. The cover gives like cutesy rom-com. It gives like Hallmark Christmas feels. But like, the sex scenes are not that. So I feel like if you're going into this book expecting that and you don't get it, you're going to be kind of mad. But I don't know. I just feel like the marketing around this book wasn't what it was supposed to be. But overall, yes, I'm still giving it 4 stars. I still enjoyed it, but it's just a very low 4 stars. Why I decided to wear a t-shirt in the middle of winter, I don't know. Because I am cold. Anyway, I finished The Holiday Trap. I mean, I didn't really finish it. I actually DNF'd this. I'm sorry. But I just was not enjoying it. I made it pretty far into it though. The audiobook's at 67%. I can't remember what actual page, but I made it past the 50% mark for sure. I made it past the halfway point. And it just got to a point where every time I went to go and pick this up and was listening to the audiobook or just like reading it physically, my brain just kept saying, I feel like I'm wasting my time reading this. I feel like I'm wasting my time. And I decided to just stop wasting my time and move on to a different book, which is good because the next book I'm reading, I have already started it. I need to finish it quickly because it's my work's book club book. And I'm the one who kind of runs it, so I definitely need to finish the book, read the book, so that way I can talk about it with everyone there. We're not talking about that book just yet. The Holiday Trap. So this, honestly, sounded like my kind of book. It sounded amazing. I was so excited for this. Basically, it's kind of like The Holiday, but with a gay and a lesbian. You've got two people. You got a gay, you got a lesbian, and they're switching houses, they're switching towns. So we've got a small town in Maine, and then New Orleans. So they're like switching houses for, I want to say it was like 4 weeks. It was like a long time. It was like a whole holiday season, or maybe 3 weeks. And they each are like finding their own little romance within these towns. and it's not the romance was fine. I liked the romance, and I was like not minding the story, but it was too cheesy for my taste, and I like cheese. I like when things are cheesy. This was too much for me. Also, the characters were just so stupid and were doing so many stupid things that it was annoying. And I don't know, I was not feeling this book. So I think overall I've given it 2 stars, but it is a DNF, so keep that in mind. I did not enjoy this. Actually, I think I remember the page I left off on. I just remembered. Yeah, I read this much. I gave it a chance. I could not continue. So that's The Holiday Trap. On to the next one. I think this might possibly be the weirdest angle I've ever done. But hi. This is quite a weird angle. I just wanted a different angle from all the angles you've been seeing, but my room is only so small. But I have my next book, and after reading it, it's not a Christmas romance, but I'm still gonna talk about it because I read it for this video. But it's One Day in December by Josie Silver. I swear to God, I thought this was a Christmas romance, and it's not. It also doesn't just take place in December. It takes place in all the months throughout 10 years. So yeah, I finished this 2 days ago, but this was a book club pick for my work's book club. And so we had just had a meeting today and was talking about it, and all of us really liked it. One of us didn't even read it. And basically, book club turned into us just explaining to her everything that happens in the book. But this one is interesting in the sense that, like, I still am not quite sure what all of my thoughts are on this book. I keep going back and forth between different ratings, but I think overall I'm gonna give it a 4-star because I did really enjoy it. I wasn't in the beginning. It literally, I think, was like around here. Like, I read this much and I was just like, it's okay, it's fine. And then like something happened and I immediately was just like invested. And I think the other thing too is I do connect with our main character, Lori, which I haven't explained what this is about. But give me a second, let me have my little moment here. But I really connected with Lori because her and I feel like we have similar situations. Not exact situations, but similar in the sense that, like, we both are in love with someone who we can't be with. And it's just that whole thing of, can there be more than one love for a person? And I do think there can be. She even had this whole, I like highlighted it and tabbed it, but like this whole thing in the middle of the book that I started crying. But yeah, so we have Jack and Lori. They met at a bus stop and instantly fell in love. And then like never saw it. They didn't even speak to each other. They literally just looked at each other. He was standing at the bus stop. She was on the bus. They just looked at each other and fell in love, which I don't quite believe that, but okay. Spent a year trying to find Busboy. I really hate this angle. Let me find something else. So then she spends a whole year trying to find Busboy, never finds him. Her friend, her like best friend, who she considers a sister, introduces her to her new boyfriend, and it happens to be Busboy. Doesn't say anything, but Lori and Jack just end up having this like connection, but also realize even through this connection that they can't be together because he's with Sarah and he does love Sarah. And then she ends up meeting Oscar and falling in love with Oscar. But there were a couple of like things that would happen in this book that just really rubbed me the wrong way, or I didn't really like. And I don't want to go into spoilers, but there were just like things that I was just like, I don't think we should have done that. But overall, I really enjoyed this writing. Wow. Okay. overall, I think I really enjoyed this writing style, and I definitely want to read more from this author. And I did enjoy the characters, and I especially loved the ending of this book. The ending of this book was chef's kiss, amazing. I guess it does kind of like have a little bit of Christmassy aspect to it, because that's right, they do see each other at a Christmas party as well. So there's a little bit of Christmas, but like, I don't know if I'd consider this a Christmas romance. It's just a romance. But I liked it. 4 stars. What are all the angles of this room that I can be in is basically what I'm trying to do here. But we're on to the last book for this video. I really wanted to get in one last book, a 10th book, but it's just not gonna happen with the timing. So, last book, Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cotran. I just realized in this moment I don't know how to pronounce the last name. But this is a romance between 2 women. We have Jacqueline and our main girl, Ellie, whose perspective we are from. Ellie has this like one night with Jacqueline, who's known as Jack, falls in love, but then never sees her again for a whole year. And then she ends up getting into a fake relationship with this guy, Andrew. They're gonna get married, but just so he can get his inheritance. And then she goes to his family's place for the holidays to meet everyone, and look at that. Good old Jacqueline is his sister, and she still has not gotten over her. So that's pretty much the premise. Before I get into anything with this book, I just need to clap the audiobook narrator. I have never had a narrator go that hard on the acting for each of these characters, especially our main character, like to the point where like at the end I thought she was legitimately crying as she was saying those lines. So honestly, awards and snaps for the audiobook narrator, because she killed it. The story though, I wasn't really getting into it in the beginning. If I'm being honest, I don't really feel the chemistry between our 2 leads. And I actually think I would have liked it more if our main character, like, you know, she had this past and this like love with Jack, and now she's like having this fake relationship with Andrew. I would have liked it if she was also starting to fall in love with Andrew and then had to make a decision between Andrew and Jack, which we obviously know she would pick Jack in the end. But like, I didn't find any characters charming, or I wasn't really falling for any of the characters. I didn't really see any chemistry. So that's like my biggest gripe with the book. But I did really enjoy the ending. The ending was my favorite part. I think that big gesture at the end was solid. Was a solid gesture, and I think the communication in the end was really good. For a whole book that's based on like, oh, let's play the honesty game, they don't really have a whole lot of great communication. The other thing too is just Andrew. I understand why he's getting married, just so he can get the inheritance. But I don't understand why he was getting married to a random woman. Why not get fake married with the person he actually loves, which is Dylan? And it's like, why couldn't, I understand we had to do this for the plot point so Ellie could meet Jack and bring that back, but like, there was no actual reason for Andrew doing it with a random girl instead of doing it with Dylan, the person that he loves, and just being like, yeah, it'll just be a fake wedding and then they fall in love, you know, the typical trope. They could have had that. Yeah, so I think overall I had some issues with it, but in the end I enjoyed it. I'm so upset I didn't have a single 5-star for this whole video. Makes me so upset, but I think overall I'm gonna give this, are we gonna focus on me? But overall, I think I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. All right, so this concludes the vlog, the video, but I wanted to show you all of the books and the order that they are in.
So we have my least favorite all the way to my favorite Christmas romance book of this season. I definitely think I want to do this again next year, but hopefully next year I'll have a 5-star to talk about and share with you guys. But that is it, and happy holidays. I will see you guys later with another video. Bye!